Just waiting for that stream to come up. Here we go, man. New series on the channel. Starting off, trying to piss off as many people as I can. All in one go. Here we go. Let me refresh my page. Get everything ready here. You heard? I'm not even going to tweet this stream out because I don't even want people in here for this. What's up, Niall? Ba, 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 ba. Let's talk about it. I'm so hyped about it. Not hyped about it, but hyped about it, you know? Ba, doo-doo-doo. Alright, honestly, I'm trying to decide how long I really want to give this before I just jump into it. For those of you that are in here already and those of you watching this as a video, this is going to be a new series on the channel, Malicious Negligence. It's my idea for a podcast later on in the future, not right now, but what this is going to be like an I.M.O series, in my opinion, when things happen, Atlanta United, football, music, whatever, and I feel like talking about it. I want to talk to you all about it. We're going to stream. I'm going to give you my opinions. We're going to talk about your opinions. I'm going to piss somebody off today. I already know because everybody's just annoying me at this point. So we're gonna rant about Tata. We're gonna rant about his decision. We're gonna see what kind of conversation we can get going. I'm gonna be reading the chat, trying to figure out what y'all are talking about. But yeah, this is gonna be in my opinion series where most likely I'm gonna piss somebody off, and I'm okay with that. Everything's offensive on the internet is the little caution sign in the bottom. I throw caution out the window when it comes to talking. As many of you guys know, if you do watch my videos and my streams, there's a lot of opinions that I take that are different than a lot of other people in the fan base, in Atlanta United's fan base and other teams altogether. And you know, I don't mind defending my opinion, and I don't mind hearing other people's opinions. So, like I said, this is what this idea of the videos and the streams are going to be. We're going to be streaming them just so I can get some other input, just so I can read the chat, see what's going on. I'm sure, you know, this episode, it's kind of just a random new one. I'm going to tweet out the stream really quick just to say it. Let me do the other one. But yeah, we're going to talk about it, because I think there's a lot of I think there's a lot of anger for some reason. Sadness, I understand. Confusion, I kind of get it. I don't think Zidane's going to take over. I don't know if we're going to go for a big manager. I'd like to say we are. But anyways, we'll let everyone else join in whenever they want to. This is mainly for video purposes anyways, but Niall and Joseph, appreciate you being in the chat. We'll get your opinions in and everything like that, and we'll jump into it. So let's start off. I'll read the headline of the Atlanta United announcement posted at 9:33 this morning. My manager came by and said, "Hey, look at this." I was like, oh, okay. Martino set to depart Atlanta United at season's end, declines contract extension. That line already pissed people off because there's been all this debate, all these rumors that he was going to leave for this massive amount of money for Mexico. He's going to be the most well-paid, sought-after, highest-paid manager in the world, international team-wise. And everybody's freaking out. Tata did it for the money. He's the worst man ever. He built Atlanta up, and he's just going to let us die and fall apart and this, that, and the other. I'm going to read some Instagram comments, some Twitter comments, everything like that. And we're going to talk about those type of things and just how ignorant that actually is. I don't know if anyone even read this article, and I might be ignorant in thinking people are going to read this article, but, like, come on, man. So we get into this. Atlanta United announced today that Tata Martino has declined to extend his contract with the club beyond 2018 and will move on at the end of the season. The club will immediately begin a detailed global search for a replacement. We'll get back to that comment in itself because that's interesting, even if it's just blowing smoke up their own butt and not actually Not actually a global search, but we'll get into that. After negotiations between Atlanta United and Martino regarding the option to extend his contract, the head coach ultimately made the decision to move on after the 2018 season for personal reasons. Personal reasons. No comment will be made by Martino regarding his future until after the conclusion of the season. Important. Everybody's wondering, why did they announce this at the end of the season? Why did they announce this before we get the Supporters' Shield, hopefully on Saturday, whatever day it is, against Toronto? And why did they announce it before the playoffs? You know how long we've been dealing with this rumor of Tata rejecting the contract and Tata doing this and Tata doing that? They just had to end it. They just had to finally get people to stop talking about it, because every game, every press conference, everything is always about Tata leaving and not actually about the game or the players itself. And it drives, I'm sure, him crazy. So he probably just, was like, okay, let's just cut ties. We're going to stop talking about this. We're going to move forward. So that happened. Tata says it's a personal decision, wants it to be made, not going to talk about it until the end of the season, like he should. I'm sure he's still going to get asked about it every press conference. Anyways, so we see that, okay, personal reasons, everyone's thinking money. This is not an easy decision to make. I have enjoyed my time with Atlanta United very much, and am proud of what we have accomplished together in such a short time. Mind you, his contract was only 2 years long. It was an option of his if he wanted to extend it. He does not owe us anything. The decision was not made for financial reasons. Obviously, he has to say this because it's being rumored that he's getting offered so much money, and it's the idea that we can't match it, although I'm sure we could if we really wanted to. We could match Mexico's price range, but he has to say it anyways. Negotiations with the front office were transparent and fair. It was simply the right move for me and my family at this time. Me and my family. Focus on this part. I'm going to break down this whole article. It's really going to piss somebody off, I already know. But still, me and my family at this time, you have to understand, whenever you're a club manager versus being a national team manager, especially being a club manager of a club that just started 2 years ago and that he's been working with for what, 2.5 years, maybe 3 if we're talking in terms of, all the transfers and everything like that, but realistically less, like a little over 2 years. He wants time with his family. He has to painstakingly go through all of the transfers, go through all of the scouting. Obviously, he delegates a lot of his work that he does. I'm sure he does. That's what makes him a great manager. It makes him a great leader. But still, it's a lot to focus on. Whereas as a national team manager, let's say if he goes and gets that Mexico job, then what you're thinking is he's really only with the team during international break. Sure, he's watching the games. Sure, he's thinking about what team he's going to put out there. Sure, he's thinking about tactics. But as a football-minded player, as a soccer-minded player, that's something that's in your head all the time. It's who you are as a human being. So he's always thinking about it anyways. And that doesn't change his day-to-day life. Being at the pitch, being at practice, doing this, that, and the other, being at press conferences, traveling all the time, it gets to you. It gets to you as a human being, and him being an international manager before makes it hard for him to go back to being at a club, especially a new one. But it's a challenge he wanted, mind you. He said at the beginning of taking this job, and he says here as well, the opportunity to build a team from the start does not come along often, and I am grateful to the club and to the fans for putting their trust in me to establish a solid foundation here in Atlanta. What is more important now is that the focus remain on our goals for this season. Of course, nobody's going to allow it to just be the focus on the end of the season. This is really the only time I'm going to personally talk about it, and I'm done with it until the end of the season. But he had the opportunity to come in and build a team, and he says it. You don't understand that option doesn't come along often. Not to mention to come into a team where you have an owner and a board that's behind you 100%. 100%, the board and the owner are behind you. They'll go buy what player you want. They'll build the team that you want. They'll let you run the team how you want. That's an opportunity that he has never had. He's always been put into the Barcelona scenario where, of course, his play style did work out well, but not well enough, so he ended up having to leave. He goes to Argentina, similar play style, but we all know that there's something with that Argentina national team board, a national team board, that won't let him be with the team the way he wants to and to lead that team the way he wants to. Now he gets to come into a club like Atlanta with nobody there except for Kenwin Jones and Alec were like the only two, and then like another keeper. What's his name? I can't remember his name. Somebody tell me his name. It's the Greek goalkeeper we had last year, man. The Greek goalkeeper from last year. Somebody's going to remember this name, and it's actually infuriating me. I can't remember. Anyways, those were like the 3 players we had. He got to build the team how he wanted to. He got to bring in players that looked up to him as like an icon because he managed Argentina and Barcelona. Do you realize how big that is? So he doesn't have to deal with the star personalities and the pain in the butt board at Argentina. He doesn't have to deal with the board at Barcelona that has had its fair share of issues over multiple managers, over multiple teams. He gets to come in again with a board behind him, an owner behind him, buy and build the team that he wants to create something that he can always say is his. And that's where a lot of people, I think, are mistaking this. When Darren brought in Tata, he was given a vision of, even if it wasn't for 2 years, but for 2 years, something was going to be built here that was going to be bigger than Tata, that was going to be bigger than Darren, bigger than Arthur Blank. It was going to be incredible because they put the money in, they put the time in, they gave the fans what they deserved, and they built something incredible. This legacy is going to outlive Tata. It's going to outlive Arthur Blank, Darren, Carlos, everybody. And Tata gets to go to his grave knowing that he built this. He built whatever comes after this. It all comes from this foundation. So all these people saying that we're at our peak, I don't think Tata thinks we're at our peak. I think Tata thinks we're going to grow and we're going to be amazing and we're going to blow up. And he's okay with being the foundation guy, the guy that honestly could end up getting forgotten in 10, 15, 20 years, maybe even less. People will probably end up forgetting that we ever had him, depending on who our next manager is, depending on who comes after that, depending on what success we get with a different manager. Because there's a lot of people that say Tata didn't even do anything here because he didn't win anything. Obviously saying this before we go to the playoffs, before we get the Supporters Shield, before we go to Champions League. But because Tata didn't achieve anything, he won't be remembered like a Bruce Arenas or somebody like that. So the idea is insane, but he's okay with being the foundation guy, the guy that set the foundation for a club, that set the foundation and the table, the roof, if you will, or the floor, I guess I should say, that any player that we bring in needs to be of this caliber, needs to be of this age range, that needs to be of this potential. All of this is in the foundation that Darren, Carlos, Arthur Blank, they're all going to be looking at for the future. They're not going to bring somebody in that's going against that culture. They know, I guarantee you, they know what happens when you do that. Darren worked with Tottenham. He understands what happens when you bring in a different style manager that doesn't fit the mold of the team. Things change, teams struggle. Everybody in the board has seen that. It's not going to be this radical change that ruins the club. We're still going to be bringing in South American talent. We're still going to be doing this, that, and the other. And it just doesn't make sense to me how everyone just thinks we're going to fall apart after Tata. I love Tata. I think he did amazing things here. But this isn't the end. This is only the beginning. This is going to skyrocket into something else. We're always going to be breaking barriers. We're always going to be breaking records, hopefully, and just always improving on ourselves. That even if we do lose Miggy, Joseph, Tata over the next couple years, over the next year, we still are bringing in players like Pity. If you think that Pity signed a contract and a transfer deal to come to Atlanta without knowing Tata's intent, you're insane. I guarantee you Tata told him he was leaving at the end of the season. But hey, this is a great club that you can build yourself in. Tata, if he really wanted Pity that badly, he could have waited, gone to a different club, and bought him there, or just brought him up there. But he trusts Atlanta enough to bring in a player like that and then leave and tell that player, hey, you're going to be safe here. I guarantee you Tata probably is going to have a hand in picking our next manager. He's going to have an opinion if he hasn't already. Anyways, as we keep moving along, Timbakis, thank you. I just read that. Appreciate that, Niall. As we keep going in this article, He was announced September 27th, 2016. In 2 years, he compiled a record of 38, 17, 17 in all competitions and guided the club to back-to-back playoff appearances. We are now just the fourth expansion team in league history to qualify for the postseason. Over the last 2 seasons, no team in the MLS has claimed more points, scored more goals, and posted a higher score differential. We all know this. And we see here from Darren, we are very grateful to Tata for his commitment to Atlanta United for all he has done to help us build our club during our first 2 years in the league. True to his reputation, he has been an incredible leader and has set us up for great success moving forward. You just have to understand that he's setting us up. It was a 2-year deal for a reason. It gave Tata the option to come in and build something, be proud of something, and put all of his effort into. And then he could decide if he wanted to keep that going or if he just wanted to let that be the foundation and let us grow and let him do another challenge. But from the beginning, his vision for Atlanta United was aligned with ours, and his level of experience, talent, and leadership has been extremely valuable during this critical time. He will be missed, but we understand and appreciate his reasons for moving on to spend time with the family and take on new challenges. Specifically that line, to spend time with family and take on new challenges. With Argentina, he managed a team full of superstars. We know what that does to managers. Argentina has always struggled with that. Mexico has similar issues, but mainly it's the fans you have to get past. If you can earn the trust of the fans, then you can earn the trust of, everything that comes with that. Chances are, I know everybody says he's going to get eaten up and chewed up and spit back out by the Mexico fans, and they're going to hate him like they've hated everybody else, and Mexico's not going to grow from this. Maybe that's true, but you can't tell Tata that. He's not going to think to himself, I can't do this, because he's going to want to try. He's going to want to try to get, that money, and you can't be mad at him for it, even if he says it wasn't for financial reasons. That's money for his kids, his family, everything. And he gets to spend more time with his family. He can travel where he wants to travel instead of only traveling to the teams that he has to go play. He's going to be able to work with different types of athletes. He's going to be able to do different things. He's going to be able to compete in the Gold Cup, in the World Cup, in the Olympics. He's going to be able to manage all of those teams, and that's the important thing, is he's still challenging. He's still trying to move forward. It's a different type of challenge than a club team can ever give, let alone a CONCACAF club team. And that's the important thing here. Even if we're going to the CONCACAF Champions League, you know how many Atlanta United fans actually know what the CONCACAF Champions League is? The MLS doesn't do well in those competitions. It's not big in this country. We don't think of it the same way as we think of UEFA Champions League. We never will. Or hopefully we will one day, but not in the near future. Would it have been a good challenge for Tata? Probably. But if he wins that, then you have to play in the FIFA World Cup. Again, we're not there yet. I think he saw the challenge of building a team to make a foundation, to have that team continue success, continue to grow, and hopefully build out the MLS altogether. But he didn't see the instant gratification of winning all of those titles. He doesn't see that it's going to be possible this very moment for us to go and dominate Champions League, to go and dominate FIFA World Cup. And there's a lot of talent that's going to go into that, and I think we will push for that. I think we will push for dominance if we keep the right managers in, and we can get there, but that's not in Tata's time frame, I don't think. He wants something where he can kind of push for something, build something with players that are already set in place, that has a team already set in place that should be able to challenge for more than they're willing to challenge for right now, or able to challenge for right now. And he just sees that as a better opportunity, a better challenge, a new challenge. So you have to understand that club and international are different if he goes international. If he goes to another club, then he goes to another club. I would imagine if he does that, he's probably going to Argentina because he wants to manage there and be closer to home, just like Carlos Carmona wanted to leave last year. Family sometimes is just going to come first, and you can't be mad at somebody for that, not regardless of what you want. That's the most selfish thing ever. There are plenty of amazing managers out there, and as great as Tata is, they can do as good, if not better, a job than Tata can. And I think we're going to see that hopefully in the future, hopefully with the next manager. If not, then the next one. But I don't think with the board that we have anything to worry about. The only other things here, let's see, Darren said one more quote. Tata will leave our fans with wonderful memories of our first years and will always hold a special place in Atlanta United history books. We look forward to finishing the season strong together and wish him nothing but the best for the future. We're always going to remember Tata. He's always going to be part of history. He's going to be that first manager that broke records, that first manager that put together this incredible team. And he's always going to be remembered for that. So anyways, that's just that article. I can't remember if I saw anything that just like purely irritated me on Twitter. It was mainly on Instagram, and I don't know why I even read stuff, but we're going to talk about that. Let's see. Let me read back on the comments. We'll catch back up with you guys right here. I guarantee we will still be a successful team after Tata leaves. The front office will make sure of that. Definitely agree there. Caleb Porter, I think he would be a decent option. True. And yeah, so we're obviously in negotiations supposedly with the Boca Juniors manager. He is an ex-player for Columbus. He knows the MLS. He knows how to manage a team like Boca, which is great. Big club, decent club, great history, great present, great future. Good option. Boca plays a very similar style that we do. It's a very good option for us. Let's see. And Caleb Porter, I would love Caleb Porter. As a Portland fan, previous, present, future Portland fan, I love Caleb Porter. I love the style that he played. Obviously, he has that relationship with Nagby already. And Caleb Porter leaving was a really big reason as to why Nagby was willing to look at other options and obviously end up getting traded. So Caleb Porter would be a great option. I would love to see it happen. Me personally, I'd love to see Caleb Porter more so with the U.S. men's national team. But if he's an option, I would take him. There's a lot of really good options on the board. Let's say for whatever reason, Arsene Wenger decides he wants the MLS challenge. He comes in. He's available starting January 1st, he said. He took a break. He's feeling rejuvenated. He wants a new challenge. The MLS could be that challenge. Wenger ball lines up decently well with Tata. It's not a perfect match, but it would work. You would still be able to bring in a lot of young talent, a lot of European talent, a lot of South American talent because the board's still there, the players are still there. They're still going to want to play with each other. They're still going to come and play for us, I would believe. So a lot of the manager options that are on the board, I think are going to stay. I don't know many other clubs that are going to challenge to be over us in terms of the managerial race. There will be some managers that want international options and everything like that. But I would love, me personally, as much as I love Arsene Wenger, as much as I love Caleb Porter, I would take David Moyes, and I would take any of them. Honestly, they're all great managers. And I'm sure even if there's somebody else out there, the board knows what they need. They know what image they're going for. They know what manager they're looking for. So they're not going to bring in any of these managers if they get put off by anything they say. Every single one of them, even if they're just negotiating, they're also interviewing. You have to understand that. The board's not just going to hire anybody because they think that they're a big name. Because sure, Tata was big to the Barcelona fans, the Argentines, but to some other people, nobody even knew who he was. I did, but again, I kind of love the Barcelona managers that have come out. Pep is one of my favorite managers of all time. Tata was up there as well. I think he got dealt a bad hand with both the teams that he, really focused on before us. But I think it's whatever we pick is going to be a good fit. But yeah, Arsene Wenger would be amazing. To answer you, Luke, that would be incredible. Obviously, as an Arsenal fan, that would be incredible. Let's see. Let me scroll down. Let me see if there were any comments here from the Atlanta United post that just really pissed me off that I want to talk about, but I don't really think so. Most of the people on Twitter were okay. Everybody was sad. It's okay, but everybody was thankful. The players were blah, blah, blah. How do you think the players will deal with the stress of losing their manager, wanting to finish the season strong, and then having to turn around and compete in CCL, little time to vacation, and regroup? Atlanta United Fan TV is going to talk about this in their podcast, but I'll talk about it here as well. I think it gives them something to fight for. It gives them a more focused end goal of this season. I think everybody was already charged up to do it. I guarantee you the players have known this longer than we have. They've been thinking about it. They play as a unit. They play for each other, and that's such an important thing. You hear it a lot with a lot of other teams, but the more that they play for each other and they play for Tata and they play for, you know, everything that they've built here and sending him off on a good note, I think we put up a good fight in Toronto. I don't think they think about it that much. I really don't think it'll be on their mind. Will it be on their mind maybe transfer-wise? Possibly. But I'm sure the board and Tata have had conversations with everybody there, letting them know what the future holds, what they're looking at, what options they're looking at. And that's going to be anything anyways. Purple Pride Army, Orlando City fans, your fans leaving after this season. And it's like a gif of everyone falling into a pit. Pretty sure that pit is where all the Orlando City fans are going that keep canceling their season tickets and quitting the club because their board sucks. But that's fine. Anyways, moving forward. Like I said, Twitter was usually actually pretty good. Twitter managed to be better than Instagram. Not as many stupid comments were made. Like I said, a lot of sadness, I think. But yeah, I think that's good. And let's see. Tata deserves a lot of respect. That is true. Tata deserves literally all the respect. And if you don't see that, then you don't get it. On Instagram, on the Atlanta United post, I posted, Jesus, y'all are toxic, because like everybody is toxic. It's ridiculous. So this guy says, and I'm not going to throw names out there. We won't get slanderish with people. You know who you are if you said this, if you're watching the video. But one guy says, so dumb. What's the point of building a team and leaving it at its peak? Thanks for everything, Tata. Hope this doesn't ruin us like it has the capability of doing. Okay. So again, I think I already talked about this. We're not at our peak. We're just at the beginning. It's just the foundation, man. It just happens to be that our foundation is already high. But if we bring in the right players, you got to think. The players that we have already, the players that we're building around us are youth players, George Bello, Andrew Carlton, Chris Goslin, Kunga, all these players, plus Miguel Almiron if he doesn't leave next season, Joseph Martinez, Pity Martinez, Barco if he ends up figuring out how to play correctly. Fantastic assist by him, by the way. Won't talk too badly about him. Had some other miscues, but maybe that's a conversation for another day. Julian Gressel's still here, even if he goes on trial. But the players that are already here, that a new team or a new manager can come into and build on and further build. Imagine we bring in somebody like Arsene Wenger, who is a top European manager. Everybody loves him in Europe. He has all of this respect, regardless of what some fans thought in his last 3 years at Arsenal. But imagine we build on, we're a pipeline for South America. We bring these players up. Those players play for us. They become amazing. Maybe they move on to Europe. Maybe some of them stay. They become the best players in the league. But then there's also European talent overseas that Arsene Wenger knows about, and he can bring in on loan. And then we build that with players like Pity Martinez. We bring players on defense. We bring in European players or South American players to play defense, midfield, goalkeeper, even if we end up moving away from Brad. The options are unlimited, and we're not at our peak. I get what he's saying. I get that we have made playoffs 2 seasons in a row. We might win Supporters' Shield on Sunday. We're going to Champions League next year. We could win the Cup this year. I get what he's saying. All of those things Tata built. And I get that he's leaving before the challenge of the Champions League, but I just don't think he cares that much about the Champions League. A lot of people don't, so you can't really, I think, doubt him for that or say anything about that. Because right now is the best time to get in with a country like Mexico, if he can stay for a long period of time. He gets to build that team right off of a disappointing World Cup. He can build that team, progress with that team. He has 4 years until the next, World Cup, but he'll obviously have the Gold Cup. And then he'll have the Olympics and the Gold Cup and the World Cup. And then he'll, if he gets those 4 years. If he doesn't, oh well. Let's say there was another comment. That's an L for Atlanta and MLS, I.M.O. He was doing his thing with the squad he had. I don't really think it's an L for MLS. I get what he's saying. We're losing a big manager. We're probably going to bring in another big manager, though. I don't think it's going to hurt the MLS that bad. I don't think a lot of people look at our team because of who our manager is. Maybe they do. I'm not really sure. Say goodbye to the South American player recruitment. Even if we don't get in the guy from Argentina, from Boca, you have to understand that we're probably going to bring in South American players because we have South American players. They want to play together. They're friends. They can tell the board who they want to play with. They'll go get them. It's how it works. Friends are going to play with friends. So we're still going to be bringing in those players. We're still going to be challenging other teams for those players. We'll leave the Mexico comments. I don't think that's really anything. People saying follow the money again. I don't think it really is following the money. This guy says Tata going to the Mexican national team is like Neymar leaving to PSG. You are never going to win important tournaments. The Gold Cup is not a world-class tournament, but your pockets, public image, and reputation are going to skyrocket. His public image and his reputation are not going to skyrocket. He's risking everything by going there. He could end up getting fired so quickly that, which he literally, people have said in the comments above him, but I don't think it's for his reputation. I don't think it's for his public image. I don't think he cares. But if anything, he might lose a little reputation leaving Atlanta. His image might be hurt depending on how Mexico goes. But he doesn't care. It's a challenge for him. And he gets money. Who's mad? Everybody else saying thank you. Money is a powerful drug. Blah, blah, blah. Worst kept secret. We all knew because the front office gave it that October deadline that it was going to happen. Y'all are fooling yourselves if you don't think the front office or organization is prepared for this and already has the next candidate in mind. Eels and Boca have both made great decisions every time. Let's trust to do their job. Facts, exactly. Personally, I like Caleb Porter. He has worked with Argentine players such as Valeri. His style of football is high-pressing, quick counter-attacking football, which is perfect for Atlanta. Exactly. The team at Caleb Porter's peak at Portland was absolutely incredible. They were insane. So, again, you can't really be mad there. Imagine we bring in a manager that doesn't like Barco. We sell Barco and bring back Assad. That'd be great. I do kind of wonder. It's going to be up to the board to bring back Assad at that point because it's not going to obviously be up to Tata. I was thinking, maybe Tata realized he kind of liked Yamil Assad. He brought in a good feel for the squad. Still possible we bring back Yamil. He's still going to be free in the summer, and there's still opportunity to bring him back. So hopefully that happens. Wow, not even 2 seasons in. I guess the days of Ferguson and Wenger are truly gone. Nothing but a mercenary approach. 3 years max, you move on. BS. Whatever happened to building a legacy at one club? Tata's never been that type of manager. He's always been a build a team, build a style of play, move on, get a new challenge. I get what you're saying, but you can't really say that when again, whenever it's the MLS, you're still trying to build something here. That's what all the managers are trying to do. That's what all the owners are trying to do. They're trying to build something bigger than themselves. But I don't think you could have ever expected it to be a Ferguson or Wenger situation. That's just personal opinion there. Everybody, again, just talking about money. We've talked about it enough. He's never stayed at a club longer than 2 seasons. Factual. He moves around. He's like Zlatan. Zlatan might leave after this year. He might leave after next year. He's rumored to go to Real Madrid. That'd be amazing. It'd be hilarious. I would, Let's see. I don't think anyone else has really said anything too bad. Those were just the stuff that had like the most likes and everything like that. I don't want anything to do with Bruce Arenas, if we're being correct here. Absolutely nothing to do with him. I don't like his style of play at all. He had an incredible experience with Galaxy and won so much. Yes, they were early days of the MLS. He built an amazing team, which you could argue was kind of similar to the project of Tata, but he brought in more established players, in my opinion, and then was able to dominate that way. He could possibly do well with our team. I don't like his style of play. I don't think it matches our style of play. So it's not great. So, nah. We'll ignore that. Let's see. Anything else? I mean, we've been talking here for about 35 minutes. Takes Argentina to the World Cup final. Manages the best team in the world in Barcelona. Now doing things with Atlanta United. Can't wait for the next chapter. Exactly. You know? He built legacies. He built incredible teams. I think it also comes down to the fact that he did so much for all of these teams in the past and like wasn't truly appreciated the way that he was or needed to be, in my opinion. He played he managed incredibly well at Barcelona, just wasn't able to win anything due to like bad circumstances. You could say whatever you want. But then he left that team and then they had success right after and they were doing incredible. Can't really say the same about Argentina, but again, they have their own problems they got to sort out. So he did, I think, what he could do with that Argentina team. Again, I really think that's everything. Again, man, everything else is just thank yous. Most fans are okay, but again, yeah, like Luke said, I think Atlanta will be fine. Whatever the case, it's a well-run club. Darren Eales and Carlos Bocanegra are not dumb people. They will make the right decision. They will bring in the correct person to continue the legacy. It may be different. It's going to feel weird seeing a different guy on that sideline. It's going to be a kind of a weird transition period. There's some players that might end up leaving. There's some players that might end up coming in. It's going to be a weird transition like it is when any manager leaves a club. But I have faith that whoever we bring in, we will have the right team out on the field. We will have the right style of play on the field. I may not agree with whatever ends up happening over the next 6 months. We'll see. We'll see how everything unfolds. We'll see where Tata goes. All I wish for is that he has the most amount of success. Hopefully, if he does go to Mexico, you know, the U.S. can pull it out against him. I wish the U.S. would have spent more money to go and get him and wouldn't have been so stubborn in saying that he didn't speak enough English to manage our team. I think that's a really narrow-minded negative comment. I think the U.S. men's national team was a little just too scared to bring in a manager like that. The USSF was a little too scared to bring in a manager that would actually probably bite the hand that feeds him if it's not run correctly. I think they're looking for more of a yes man, and I just don't know if they're ever going to find what they're looking for. I'm sure they will. Somebody will be in the right place. But hopefully he has success, as much success as he can, without overriding America in Mexico. And if it doesn't work out in Mexico, I'm sure he's going to find something else. I'm sure he's going to do something else. And Tata's always going to be somebody that we can look at and say that he managed our club. He's going to go on and do bigger things. Even if it's not just Mexico, he's going to go on and manage a big club. He's going to go on and do all of these things that are going to be incredible. And we just have to reminisce that this was a great time. This was an incredible time, and it's only going to get better for us and for Tata. And if you're not on board for that, then, you know, I think it's going to be a bad time for you. And personally, there's other clubs that you could support. But to be mad at the board or to be mad at Tata or be mad at whoever you want to be mad at just doesn't make sense. So you really just have to ask yourself, why are y'all mad? And that's why this is the title of this. Why are y'all mad? You can be sad. You can be anxious. You can be scared. You can be excited. You can be everything. But why be mad after the 2 years that we've had? It's been 2 years, man. Clubs don't do what we are doing right now. Unless we're talking way back, you know, with Bob Bradley in Chicago. Or whatever. Why is my brain not working? Chicago, right? Or am I lying? It might be DC. Wait, who? I don't even know anymore, man. My brain's not working anymore. Anyways, but he's doing it again with LAFC. They broke a record. We're not the only team breaking records anymore, but I think it'll be fine. Last comment we'll kind of wrap up on. Do you think this will affect Joseph? No, probably not. I think he still loves the city. I think he's going to cope well with whatever manager we bring in. I think the only thing that will affect Joseph is Miggy. And we saw that on Sunday. Without Miggy, Joseph's lost. Joseph doesn't have confidence. And that worries me. Not in terms of the playoffs. I think Miggy will be back. I don't think it'll be a problem. But if he doesn't have that confidence to play with the swagger that he has without Miggy on the field, with having the other players around him, I think he was uncomfortable in the formation. I think he was uncomfortable with the style of play. I think he was uncomfortable with not having that player behind him to pass the ball off to if he wasn't comfortable with the shot. And it made him play weird. There were... whenever Franco tried to score, whenever Joseph was open for an easy pass for a 2-on-1 situation with the keeper on Sunday, I turned and looked at my friends and I said, I don't think Franco trusted Joseph. And I said that kind of jokingly, but at the same time I was serious. I think Franco worried that Joseph wasn't going to be able to take that shot. And I don't know if it was something maybe that was said in the locker room. I don't know if it was just by the demeanor that he had on the field. But he didn't trust Joseph in that split-second moment. He felt it was better for him to cut the ball inside and try to take the shot himself, or pass later on whenever he realized he didn't really have the shot anymore. And that second guessing that doesn't happen when Miggy and Joseph are on the field together is what's going to cost us the playoffs. It's going to be what costs us the Supporter Shield. It's going to cost us in Champions League. If we can't figure out how to keep the swagger on the field, to keep the confidence and the cohesion between the team on the field at that moment, we're going to have a problem. Barco and Chris McCann don't talk to each other. Barco assumes Chris McCann is always in a Miggy situation or a Miggy position where or even a Bello position where he's going to always be running forward. I have no problem with Chris McCann, and I'll make a separate malicious negligence about this. We'll do another I.M.O. on this. But Chris McCann is not a bad left back. He just doesn't play the same as Greg Garza, as George Bello, as Mikey Ambrose for that matter. He's a super solid defender. He's a midfielder. He can win the ball back. He can pass the ball. But don't expect him to always make the overlay run that Barco was expecting him. And that's why there were a lot of miscued passes. There were a lot of passes that just ended up in the defender's feet, or it ended up out of bounds because Chris McCann wasn't there. He was 4 feet back trying to play defense in case Barco lost the ball. That miscommunication, because Barco and Chris McCann don't want to talk to each other, that would cost us the playoffs. So I don't think, as of right now, the Tata news is going to cost us in the playoffs. It's not going to cost us a Supporter Shield. It's not going to cost us in preparation for next season. Everything's going to come down to how much this team wants to play for each other and with each other. If they're not playing with and for each other, we're not winning playoffs. We're not going to be able to do all of these things. But other than that, that's where we're going to end it. This was the first episode of our Malicious Negligence I.M.O. series. This is my opinion. I want to hear yours in the comments section down below. Argue it out. Give me things to talk about. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me whatever. I'm sure this one won't be as controversial. When I talk about Chris McCann, maybe later on this week, I'll piss some people off. But other than that, that is going to be the end of this. Thank you for everybody that watched the stream. Thank you for everybody that's watching the video. If you guys did enjoy, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure to smack that like button. Let me know that you guys are watching this series, you're enjoying this series. Comment your opinions below about Tata, about the whole situation, about our future. Let me know whatever you want to let me know. And I might think, you know, your opinion's wrong, but it's your opinion, as this is mine. So again, if you guys did enjoy, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And until the next one, I will see you guys later.